Hello, class. This is Mr. Eggleston, and today I'm doing the lesson 2.2, and 2.2 is proportional relationships in the coordinate plane. So big words, lots of words. All right, it's right here. So first off, the learning targets. Graph proportional relationships in the coordinate plane. That should make sense once you see it. Basically, we're going to be graphing equations. Proportional equations means it's going to be a straight line, or all lines are straight, so it'll be a line. Interpret points in the coordinate plane in context of the problem, and understand that the set of all points satisfying a proportional relationship form a line with a given slope. Some words you may not know, like slope. And that's what we're headed towards. I don't think we're going to get into all that technical terms until much later. I forget what unit that would be. All right. Oops, sorry. So now, here we go. First thing I want you to do is do 1 and 2. All right. Pause the video and see if you can do it. All right, I'm going to try to treat this like it was in class. All right, so pause it. Welcome back, kids. So if Lona, kind of interesting name, watches 3 episodes, how many minutes? How many minutes will it take? Well, that should be pretty straightforward, right? You got 3 episodes. How many minutes will it take? Each episode is 20 minutes. So if you got 3 of them, you could just go for each one, add 20 together. Or it's the same thing as saying 3 times 20. Either way, you get 60 minutes. All right. 60 minutes. Now, to complete the table, if you don't, I hope you've already done this because I asked you to do 1 and 2. If for 0 minutes, 0 episodes watched, you watched it for 0 minutes. For 1 episode, it's 20. For 3, we found out it was 60. And if you do the math, for 5, it would be 5 times 20 or 100 minutes. Notice this is in minutes. Okay? Now they want you to plot it, something you should be able to do. Again, I'll pause. I want you to try to do 3 through 6. So I'll pause the video, and when we come back, I'll discuss it and go over the answers. All right? So pause it, please. Welcome back. So the first thing is plot the values on the table. So 0, 0 means you put a dot at 0, 0. X is the number of episodes. So this is the number of episodes, and Y is the number of minutes. We're plotting ordered pairs in the form of X, comma, Y. In this case, it would be episodes, comma, minutes. Okay. So for zero episodes, we had 0 minutes. For 1 episode, we had 20 minutes. So that puts us there. For 3 episodes, we had 60 minutes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And for 5, we had 100 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. I hope you guys are okay plotting these points. Each of these is an ordered pair. For instance, down here at the 100, it'd be 5, 100. X, Y. That's how we plot points, all right? Okay, so the next question. There is a point on the graph marked A. What information does this point tell you? Well, remember, this point A up here is the ordered pair 8, 160. It says that 8 episodes episodes, you watch for 8 episodes, you watch 160 minutes. Okay. And the ordered pair there is 8 comma 160. Now remember, it's always going to be the horizontal axis, the x-axis that goes in front, x comma y. You have to know that. That's how ordered pairs are labeled. All right, and 160. What do you notice about the shape made by the points on the graph? Well, it's a line. They form a line. All right. Describe the relationship between y-coordinate and the x-coordinate of every point on your graph. What they want, well, in words, what you're doing is the y is 20 times the x. Okay. Now, use the graph to estimate how many episodes Lona can watch in 95 minutes. Show your method on the graph. So on number 7 and 8, please pause the video and see if you can do it, and then I'll come back and show you how to do it. So please pause the video. All right, we're back. So to do this, the easiest way is go up to your graph. Okay, and they want how many episodes Lona can watch in 95 minutes. So we go up here to where 95 would be, which is, I'll use this. Okay, here's 95, roughly, right? Why does that not work? Oh, my pen, I need a new pen. There it is. So we go across at 95, okay, and it might be better to go ahead and connect the dots with a line. So notice I'm connecting these dots with a given line. There you go. That will be easier for us to visualize what's going on. So here we go. They said for 95, let me put that over there. So 95 in 95 minutes. So 95 is roughly right there. So they cross there. And then if you just go from there, you can see that you can watch, by looking at that, about I would say 4.5, maybe 4.75. I would say about 4.5 4.5 episodes. Okay, and we did that by finding the number of minutes along the y-axis, and we had to estimate 95. Some would say maybe it's more than 4.5, maybe 4.75. So you could also this is an approximation. So as long as you're in the ballpark, you're fine. All right. We could do it much more precisely if we had a graphing calculator. So let's say it's 4.75 episodes. Use the graph to estimate how many minutes it will take Lona to watch. I know it's bad wording. It says can watch. It will take Lona to watch 6.5 episodes. So we go to the the x-axis, the horizontal axis over here. This is the number of episodes. 6.5 is roughly right there. So we literally go to let me go to dashed. 6.5 is roughly right there. So we go we gotta keep going. And you can see to watch 6.5 episodes, it would take about 130 minutes. You would have to estimate. So and these are estimates because we're going off a hand-drawn graph. If we had technology, a graphing calculator, we could get a more precise answer about I just lost my train of thought. What was about 90 or 130 minutes, sorry. All right, here is the proportional relation. Here is the quick notes. You can copy them down. So for the first learning target, how do you graph a proportional relationship? You have the x-axis, the horizontal axis. Oh, that doesn't disappear. That's the sorry. I want the thing that. Okay. So this right here is just explaining what the coordinate grid is. All right, the coordinate grid is like this down here, this thing. That's a coordinate grid. All right. On that, you have the y-axis is the vertical axis. Okay. The x-axis is the horizontal axis. You have to get that down. Y goes up and down. Y goes up and down. X goes left to right. You need to know that because that will screw you up later. Also, any graph that goes straight up and down, any line that does that, that's vertical. That's a vertical line. Horizontal is the one that goes flat, like left to right. Matter of fact, the easy way to remember horizontal is if you look out into the distance and you can see where the land meets the sky and it's flat. And we call that the horizon. That's horizontal, going left to right. Okay, that's key. Kids get hung up on that. Also, on the axis, notice this position in this quadrant, we call this the first quadrant, is positive, positive. We're in the positive side of the x-axis and the positive side of the y-axis. And then over here in quadrant, what we call quadrant 2, knowing the names is not important right now. Over here to the left of the y-axis, notice the x is negative, but the y will be positive. And then when you're down here to the bottom left or the third quadrant, again, you don't need to know those names yet, at least I don't think. Notice that both x is to the left of the origin, which means it's negative, and the y is below the origin. And by the way, the origin's the middle point. We always refer to that, the origin. That is 0, 0. All right? And then in the fourth quadrant, to the right of the y-axis, but below the x value is positive, and the y value is negative. Know those sign conventions. You have to be able to plot points. All right? Now, learning target number 2 is ordered pairs, x comma y. Use the labels on the axis to interpret. So that goes later on when we start dealing with word problems. But here we go. So the ordered pair xy can be plotted like right there. Okay, notice the x goes along the x-axis, is the number along the x, and the y is the number along the y. And that's how you plot an ordered pair. This is stuff you should have seen in your previous classes. All right, you did a little bit of this in your pre-algebra class. The set of all points satisfying the proportional relationship for a line going through the origin is a line. Is that word right? The set of all points satisfying a proportional relationship. I'm not sure if that's word. Basically, they're saying that a line represents the set of all possible numbers that satisfy the proportion. All right, it's just a picture of all possible solutions. All right, so this Mrs. Gaius is playing a game with her class. She picks one of the points on the graph and gives 3 clues. If the class can correctly guess the point, they win. Clue number 1, y equals 0. So we're looking for ordered pairs or points on the grid that are like x, but it's always y is 0. Y is 0. Y is the up and down. Notice the y is here. It goes up and down. So where's y 0? At the x-axis. So these are the points that work. So that would be at D, comma, O. That's supposed to be a D. That looks like 2 O's. Sorry. Me malo. D, comma, O, comma, K. Comma, M. Okay, those are all points that are on the x-axis, and that is when, sorry, I put that in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be up above. And by the way, it looks like I switched my writing instrument to pencil. So that's why it looks kind of funky. It looks kind of cool that way, but I think I'm going to switch back to pen. All right. The x value is negative. Negativo. The x is negative. All right? Let's think about that. If x is negative, it's to the left of the origin. So the negative x is all in, this region here. So that's going to be x is negative. All right. Well, let's just go with OD. I'm just going to start reading off. OD, comma D, comma E, comma C, comma F, comma B. It's any point that's to the left of the y-axis, because to the left of the y is when the x-axis is negative. Okay? Okay, the distance from the origin is greater than 3 units. That one's going to be a bit tough. Okay? She picks one of the points. Oh, one of the points. So I'm listing all possible points. So really, you just needed to write one of these, one of those. Okay, the distance from the origin. Remember, the origin's right there where the axes cross. That the origin has the ordered pair 0, 0. Okay? So the distance is greater than 3 units. So if you look at this, let me go. Boom. So 1, 2, 3. So here's 3 on the x. 1, 2, 3. Here's 3 on the y. 1, 2, 3. Here's 3 on the left. 1, 2, 3, and here's 3 down below. So it's got to be any of these points further away to the left or above. So any of these points, any of these points, pretty much all these points will satisfy. Oh, even the m, sorry. All right. The points that do not satisfy would be this point, that point, K, G doesn't satisfy, so, but any other point would. So it's easier to list points that are closer to 3 closer than 3 to the origin than it is to list a point further away than greater than 3. All right, last one. A sandwich shop uses a scale to ensure that each sandwich gets the same amount of deli meat, which is important. And because you don't want to, be giving unportioned sizes and giving more meat to a certain customer than not, because that can get you into a world of hurt. People could be accusing you of things. Okay, so the graph shows a relationship between the number of sandwiches made, okay, and X. So first thing you should always do is make sure you understand X equals pound number of sandwiches made. Okay. The point 412 is shown. That's this point right there. Explain what information this point gives in the context of the problem. So again, sandwiches made is X, and the total weight of deli meat used is Y. So 412 means X equals 4. So for 4, let me just write the word 4. For 4 sandwiches, the shop used 12 what? Measured in ounces. So 12 ounces of meat. That's what that means. All right, if 18 ounces of meat are used, how many sandwiches can be made? So we look at our graph, and the Y value that has 18 on it is, I want that one, okay. 18 is right here. Okay, and it looks like 6 sandwiches, because that's the number of sandwiches. Okay, 6 sandwiches. This is all coming from the graph. Will the point 1542 be on the line that goes through these points? Explain. Well, notice 15 is 3 more than 5. So here's the point. Here's the value of, that's actually, okay, so that's 5 comma 15. Well, the point 15, which is 3 more than 5, so remember proportions mean that if you multiply the X by 3, the output will increase by the same amount. So that's going to be 1542. So it'll be 15 times 3, which is 45. And 42 is less than that. So no. For 15 sandwiches, she should use 45 ounces of meat. But the ordered pair given is less than 45. All right, and there you go. My door just knocked, so I believe that's it, and I'm signing off. Have a good one.